Hey there, boys and girls. How are you? It's been a long time. I know I haven't been on since Foundations, unless you've been watching all my daily read alouds, and so I've been seeing you every day for the last few weeks. But I'm very excited to see you guys on here again today. Today we're going to be covering some math topics, which I know you guys are super excited about, and you'll get to do a follow-up flip grid and some practice games and things throughout the week to also help you with this skill. And so that gets us into what we'll be learning today. And so, as you can see below, we're going to be talking about basic subtraction. So the last few weeks we've been doing a lot of basic addition. You guys have become pros at it. We've seen your flip grids. We're super impressed. And I am so ready to see your subtraction skills come to life. So as we move forward, you guys are going to learn about what subtraction is and how we can solve some subtraction problems. Sound good? Yeah? Awesome. So let's get started. So my first question for you is, what is subtraction? Subtraction is actually the ability to take things away, right? When we think of addition, addition is the exact opposite of that. We're taking two groups and we're putting them together. For subtraction, we're taking one group and we're splitting it apart. So it might seem a little tough at first, but you guys are going to get the hang of it real quick. So for example, this would be a possible subtraction problem, right? 4 minus 2. You have 4 of an object, you take 2 away, and that gives you a number, right? So, for example, when we are looking at a problem like this, the 4 is in the front because it's the biggest. So that's the number we're taking away from. We're taking away from that bigger number of the 4. When you look next to it, you see a subtraction sign. I'm going to wiggle it on there. So you can see the subtraction sign, right? And that lets us know that we are taking away. Because if it was an addition sign, it would look like that. And that means we're putting them together. But because we're not putting them together, we're taking them away, we need a different symbol. And so we use the minus sign, okay, or the subtraction sign. So we have the bigger number in the front, that's the 4, minus 2. So we're going to take 2 away from 4, and that's going to give us our answer. So what I like to do is, your bigger number in the front, I always draw that, right? I draw 1, 2, 3, 4 circles, okay? I need to then take away 2 of those circles because that's how many it's telling me to take away, right? It's telling me to take away 2. So 1, 2. How many do I have left over? 2. So our answer would be 2. Make sense? So the great thing about this is when you're looking at it, I always call these the leftovers, the ones on the bottom, because that's what they are, right? Once we've done our whole problem, we did our 4 minus 2, they are whatever is left over, okay? So I circle them, and then that becomes my answer. Pretty simple, right? So as we move forward with this and start practicing with some word problems, there's some things I want you to keep in mind. For example, the sign that we use, or the symbol, is called the minus sign. And we already talked about that. It's kind of circled in red. So you guys already know that. That should be review for you. When it comes to some terms we might use, that's when it can get a little tricky. So we already know that when we use subtraction, we're taking things away, right? We're having a group of something and we're literally taking something away from it. So we use the term take away. We might also use the words subtract or minus when we're talking about subtraction. So you might hear any of those key words, and that will let you know whether we should subtract or add. If you see one of those words on the bottom, take away, subtract, or minus, you already know 100% that we need to subtract for our problem, okay? So let's get into it. Alrighty, problem number 1. I think you guys are going to do really well with this. I'm excited. There were 4 dogs laying in the sun. 3 of them ran back into the house. How many dogs are left laying in the sun? Now, I know what you're thinking. When you are doing word problems, a lot of times we tell you to draw a picture. And so you want to draw literally the most beautiful picture in the world. I draw all these beautiful dogs, and they're laying under a tree, and they look great. But guess what? And they're really sloppy. That takes a really, really long time to draw a beautiful, magnificent picture to go with your word problems. So here's my recommendation. I would tell you to just draw circles to help you out. Because typically when you're doing a word problem, you don't want to take too much time on it because then the picture's not what's important, right? It kind of stirs up what's happening. You should be caring more about what the problem is trying to ask or what it's trying to solve, right? You don't care as much about the picture. So, for example, for this one, let's look for our biggest number. Our biggest number is there were 4 dogs laying in the sun. That's the number we started with. So I'm going to put my 4 down. In the sun, and then 3 of them ran back into the house. So I know 3 of them are going to be leaving my group. So I had 4 that were in the sun. I know I'm going to have to subtract, so I'm going to put my minus sign. And then I know that 3 of them were the ones that ran into the house. Okay? So I have my 4 minus 3 equals, and then the blank space, right? This is where it might get a little tricky. Draw your first group, okay? Your first group is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many dogs decided to run away? You can underline it, you can box it, whatever helps you out the most. 3, so cross it out. 1, 2, 3. How many are left over? 1. So for this problem, we solved it. There were 4 dogs laying in the sun. 3 of them ran back into the house. That left 1 dog laying in the sun. Make sense? So you guys did really well with that one. We're going to keep moving forward, and you're going to have the chance to do some of these with a little more work time on your part. Okay? So let's go. Problem number 2. Mrs. Christian planted 7 seeds in her garden. Of those seeds, 4 of those seeds bloomed into flowers. How many did not bloom yet? So, let's take a look. We have Mrs. Christian planted 7 seeds in her garden. 4 of those seeds bloomed into flowers. And then there was some that didn't bloom. So we have to subtract the ones that did bloom to find the ones that did not yet bloom. Okay? So here's our number sentence. 7 minus 4 equals blank. Okay? Let's do our groups. We have to draw 7 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then need to take away 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That leaves how many left over? 1, 2, 3. So our answer is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. Fantastic, right? So you guys did a really good job. Think of this as a literal number sentence, right? Read it like a sentence. 7 take away 4 is equal to 3, right? Awesome. Check your work. Make sure you did it just like I did. And then we're going to do the next one together on our own. You ready? Okay. Let's see how good you guys can get at this. Problem number 3. Mrs. Amsberg baked 10 chocolate chip cookies. Ooh, delicious. And if you've ever had any of her cookies, they are delicious. She gave 5 cookies to Mrs. James. How many cookies does she have left? I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. And then I'm going to show you my number sentence, okay? Almost. About 10 seconds. What does your number sentence look like? How should we set it up? And we're ready. All right. So this is my number sentence, and this is what you should have on your paper. So if you don't have it, fix it. We have 10 cookies that we started with, right? Mrs. Amsberg baked 10 delicious chocolate chip cookies. Oh, lucky us. Then we have to take away 5 of them. Mrs. James is so lucky. She gets to eat 5 of Mrs. Amsberg's 10 chocolate chip cookies. So 10 take away 5 is equal to what? We have to then draw our first group. So take this time to draw your first group, which is 10. And like I said, don't get fancy with your pictures. I know we can. I know they can be absolutely beautiful. But we're looking to solve, not to be the next Picasso. Okay? So here's mine. We have 10 minus 5 equals blank. And I drew my 10 dots on the bottom to help me. Now, I need to look at the number that I need to take away. I boxed it. The number I need to take away is 5. So my job is to cross out 5 of my cookies or circles, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I have to count how many are left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. And if you knew that because it's a doubles fact, awesome, even better. But still show your work, because showing your work lets the teacher know and your parents know how you solve the problem. We know you're smart up here. Sometimes we need to see it on your paper too. Okay? So we have 5 that were taken away, and we have 5 that are left over. So our answer is 5. 10 minus 5 equals 5. Nice work, guys. Check your work. Make sure it looks like mine. If it doesn't, fix it so that it does. You guys are zooming through these. You're so smart. I love it. Kiss your brains. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So we have 2 more, and you guys are all done. So I think you guys are going to like these last 2. Let's get started. All right. We have problem number 4. Mrs. Bottom had 8 erasers. She gave 6 of them to her students. How many erasers does she have left? Okay, same thing. Take a few seconds. Think about what it's supposed to look like. Where's your bigger number? What are you taking away? Set up your number sentence. Then we'll double check. I'm going to write mine. Okay, I wrote my number sentence. So give you a few more seconds to write it on your own. All right. So this is the number sentence I came up with. 8, Mrs. Bottom had 8 erasers. That's what she started with. She then had to give 6 away. So 8 take away 6 equals, how many did she have left over after she gave all 6 away? But she's, of course, didn't give all 8 away, so there's something left. So we got to figure out what it is. All right, so 8 minus 6 equals blank. That's what we should be starting with. Then we have to make our circles for 8. So go ahead and do that now. Draw your 8 circles underneath. Okay, should look something like this. I like to do mine in groups of 5 because that's how we learn for 10 frames, but if it helps you any way that makes it easier for you, is great, okay? So I have my 8. I need to then take away 6. And by doing that, I'm going to cross out 6. Let's do it together. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, take a look. How many do I have left over in my group? Right, 2. Just 2 left, right? They're the only ones without the crossing on them. So That's my answer too. Goes right up on the line. 8 minus 6 equals 2. Check your work, make sure it looks like mine. Nice job, guys. Awesome. Okay, getting to the last problem, which means I'm going to give you a little more independency with this, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. I'm excited. Ready? Problem number. Oh, this is my favorite one. This teacher is like my favorite teacher in the world. She's great. You'll love her. So her name's Mrs. Lorenz. She was coloring with her 10 crayons. Okay, so I had 10 crayons and I was coloring. While coloring, 7 of her crayons broke. I do that a lot. I press too hard. It is what it is. How many crayons does she have left? Okay, I'm going to read that one more time. Mrs. Lorenz was coloring with her 10 crayons. While coloring, 7 of her crayons broke. How many crayons does she have left? I'm going to give you about 20 seconds to write your number sentence on your paper. Okay? Let's see. I'm going to write mine. I'm not going to show you anything until the end. Once you have your number sentence written, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to draw your first group, the first group you were given. Take your time. There's absolutely no rush on this. Write your number sentence, make sure it makes sense, and then draw your first group. Once you've drawn your first group and your number sentence is already written, what you're going to have the chance to do is then look at that second number and box it or underline it, whichever helps you best, to determine how many you're going to take away from your big group. Okay? So look at your second number, box it or underline it as a little reminder to help you know what you're going to take away or add. Not add, take away, sorry. Once you've figured out what your first group is and what group you're going to take away, then you may cross out your circles. Make sure you're crossing out the number that you boxed, not the first number, the number that you boxed or underlined. That's the one you should be crossing out. Once you've crossed out your circles, take a look at how many you have left over and circle your group to help you remember. So take a look at the ones that you did not cross out and then circle those circles. That will give you your answer. Whatever your answer is, write that at the end of your number sentence on the line, and that'll help you. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to have all that down because I know it's a lot of steps. And then I'm going to share you my board and you can check your work. All right, are we ready? Okay. So this is what I came up with. Miss Lorenz had 10 crayons that she was coloring with. I broke 7 of them. But lucky me, I had 3 left. 10 take away 7 equals 3. I drew 10 circles at the bottom, crossed out 7 of them, and had 3 left over. How'd you do? Thumbs up if you did awesome. Thumbs down if, you still need a little work. There's a lot of steps when it comes to subtraction, so it can be really tricky to make sure that we followed everything. And we all learn it and teach it in different ways. So if you had a little bit of trouble with this, reach out to your teacher. That's totally fine. We're here to help. If you think you did amazing, I cannot wait to see some of the stuff you accomplished this week on your home links and through your Flipgrid and other things and other games that you get to participate in this week for this topic. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Check your work, make sure that you got the same thing I did. But honestly, I'm very, very impressed. You guys are super smart, like the smartest. Did anybody tell you that? Okay, just checking. So awesome job. Keep up the incredible work. We have come so far this year with our math skills. Subtraction is a very tricky topic. It's not one that we're going to get like that all the time, and it only gets a little bit tougher as we get into some higher numbers. So keep up the amazing work. Keep practicing, and you guys are phenomenal. I'm so proud of you. Kiss your brains. Give yourself a hug, and pat yourself on the back. Do anything you can to celebrate yourselves today because you worked really, really hard, and I'm super duper proud of you. So awesome job, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Have a great one.